September 2nd, 2020. This is episode number 4 of the Factorio podcast. My name is Blake, and this is Paul. Hello, Paul.
Hello, Blake.
All right. We're here again. Nothing since the last episode, nothing happened.
Nothing?
There was
Nothing.
no major
milestones?
Nothing. There was no big reveals.
No?
Absolutely nothing going on in the Factorio space.
Just the plain old world, just going around, same old.
Political
nonsense, diseases, viruses, that kind of stuff. No spiders?
1.0 dropped on August 14th. And I released a video that day. So I'll tell you my experience for 1.0, and then you can tell me whatever it is you did. 1.0, I woke up and I did not look at my phone. I had the day off from my normal job. I did not look at my phone.
Yeah.
Yep. And I stayed away from Twitter, stayed away from anyone else's stream. All I did is I showered, I got a cafefe, sat right here, and then I said I'm going to record an FFF the video of the FFF YouTube video of me reviewing the FFF now. I'm going to read 1.0, and turns out they released the new trailer. And so what I resigned to do was I sit down, I do my intro, and then I watch the trailer on the other monitor live while I'm recording for YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
And
Genuine.
that's the first time I've ever seen it. I had not seen the trailer, and sure enough, at the very end, little creepy crawlies go across the screen, and I went, oh! And it was the very, very first time, and that I'd seen that I got the reveal of Spider-Tron, and they got me good.
Yeah.
I had.
Well, should we watch it?
Completely. Well, Xbase.ff on my channel, but it's one of my old YouTube videos from Factorio 3. It's FFF 360 in my channel. And they got me good.
Mm-hmm.
And what I will say is, as a streamer, leading up to 1.0, I get the Spider-Tron question all the time. You think we're going to get Spider-Tron? You think we're going to get Spider-Tron?
We talked about that. We talked about it. What did you say? You said no, right?
I said no way. No way.
Not a chance.
It's a gimmick. They don't know where it fits in the game. I actually firsthand demonstration from said the Bad Mother Trucker developer. He demoed it for us in chat on Twitch one time and said it never really works right, and he poo-pooed the idea and gave us like six reasons why it's never coming in the game. And I said that's it. I'm running with it. That was about a year and a half ago. Also, V45 also did a couple of posts in the forum. He posted on Reddit or something and said Spider-Tron's not a thing. We couldn't figure out where it is. It's just in the code. We're leaving it. It's not a priority. We can't figure out where it hits in the game. I took both of those firsthand testimonies and echoed them harder than I did the last 2 months. I echoed them big time.
Yep.
And to that end, there's a Reddit post of someone saying the day before or the week before saying, "You think we're going to get Spider-Tron?" And I signed my name and I said, "No chance in hell. No way. Not going to happen. You're dreaming." And I doubled down on all of the no's. It's not going to happen. And also, it is not Woob's nature to be a hype or surprise anything. Right?
No, it's not.
This is so out of character for them to do anything like this. There's very little humor in their FFFs. There's very little hype in their FFFs. It is basically run like a project, like deliverables on sprints, and that is
very professional. Yep,
very professional, right? And
it's not like the Satisfactory folks where it's about as much of a joke as you can get. They're very professional.
Right. Yeah. It is you're right. To that end, it is the opposite of Satisfactory and Coffee Stains.
So hey, do you think?
Yeah.
You think?
Yeah.
Before we get over to me, do you think that our setting and V45? Do you think they led you astray on purpose? Do you think that was a team effort?
No.
You don't think so?
I think at the time, well, it was a year and a half ago. at the time, it was probably genuine. So a year and a half ago for Arced, V45s was more recent, but he might have led everybody astray. Arced at the time, no. I wasn't there with Arced, did not hear his voice. It was more text, right? And it was more recent. So he could have had in the back of his mind, hey, we're at least going to make a run at releasing this for 1.0, because they still had a ton of stuff to do. I mean, think about what they were doing. What were they doing 3 months out?
They were doing the blueprint stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, they were cramming. They were basically cramming. They had to make all the mods work. They had to stabilize bug fixes like crazy. They were putting all the polished high-res graphics, all the sound, and they shortened the timeline, right? So they said it was going to be September 20. It was supposed to come, right?
It was like that big game was going to come out, and then they moved it forward. What was that game?
Cyberpunk 2077. Yeah. And
I don't pay attention to those games. I don't know.
They cranked it back 6 weeks, and so they crammed. They were cramming, basically. But probably in the back of his mind, V45 might have said, all right, we're probably going to try and make a run at this Spider-Tron, see if we can make it fit.
That's pretty cool. You know, I work in software.
Yes.
You work in software. I mean, these types of things never happen.
Never.
You never get the bonus. You never, ever. You never get the stretch goal. Ever.
Never.
Phase 2.
But to your question, do you think they were pulling your leg, or do you think they're authentic? I think Arced was authentic when he was telling me. I don't know about V45 because I didn't hear his voice. I heard Arced's voice say, look, and he actually demoed it and he pulled it out. It wasn't bullcrap. And he says, look, it's not working right. There's some trouble with the water, because he walked it over some water with us. And the difference between deep water and shallow water, right? There's a dynamic there. The legs are kind of disjointed. We're not sure where it is in the game. It doesn't really work right. Is it a tank? Is it a car? Is it a train? Like, where does it fit? All of those things. All of those same thing.
Yeah.
And
it's amazing they got it out though.
I agree.
And that's the first thing I went straight to Spider-Tron. I woke up that morning, I looked, and I was like, "Oh God, what is this?"
Really?
And I opened up Factorio and typed /editor.
Oh, you did?
And I placed myself a Spider-Tron. It was a brand new map. I didn't even load a map or anything. I didn't build it. I couldn't wait. I couldn't help myself.
Oh, okay.
So here I am. I open a brand new map.
Uh-huh.
Drop a Spider-Tron down. I'm like, oh, cool.
Load
it with rockets and start walking around.
Oh, man. So to that end, are you the type of person that, are you the type of kid, Christmas time, are you peeking? Are you wanting to open a few early? A gift or two early? Are you a cheater and you got to go peek? You got to go hunt and open one, or do you just say, you know what, I'm just going to accept it. Zen is Zen. Whatever it is, it is. I'm just going to wait till the morning. I'm going to do the thing. I'm a delayed gratification.
I was a peeker. My parents kept him in the closet in their bedroom. It's not a very good hiding place. Otherwise, they kept him hidden in the back room. We didn't have a basement. It's in the back room. I mean, I wanted to know. They were going to give it to me. It's right there. I got to know what it is. Why do I got to wait? Why do I got to wait? If it's there, I got to learn a little bit of patience. I know I don't really have that. I want my cheese and I want it now.
Right. Like, how did I know to ask that question? Isn't that great? Isn't that great?
Yeah. So I load up the map.
I
place this Spider-Tron. I'm talking to my community on Discord about it. Everyone's, hush hush. Nobody wants to spoil it on day one.
Right.
And all that goes through my head is like all the possibilities of what this could be used for.
Yes.
I can use this to clear biters. Oh, mega basing is going to be so much more fun. Oh man, what about speed runs? Can you include them in a speed run somehow? Those 100% runs, stuff like that. Is there the big thing is like, is there an achievement?
Is there a
Spider-Tron?
39?
I didn't actually look. Was there?
There's not.
There's no new achievements. Okay, so I wanted to know, hey, are there new achievements?
Right.
That's a big thing for every gamers. I gotta have the achievements.
In retrospect, they probably should have dropped 2 achievements, right? Make it rounded up to 40. There's 38 right now, right? Rounded up to 40. One of them is Spider-Tron, and then one other thing like pollute some water or whatever it was, or pollute an entire lake to where it's 100% green pollution now, or something like that. Whatever the 2 new things were, right? Yep. That would have been nice, and then it would have rounded it out at 40 out of 40, and then everybody can go off and do their thing. That would have been nice.
That would have been cool. But they also added the starting, the destroyed rockets and stuff.
Yes.
And so I looked at that and I was like, okay, cool. They're adding a little fun to the start.
Teeny bit of storyline.
Just a teeny bit of storyline. Give it a little bit more than just like, hey, you're putting a player down. And my mind went to, okay, I got to make sure I don't pick this up, because I'm the type of gamer that says, if it's there and I pick it up, I can't put it back. It needs to stay. It's like in C Block. In C Block, you start with just a rock. Well, I keep that rock.
Oh,
I take everything out of the rock, but I keep the rock there. I don't know why. I don't want to lose anything. Like in Final Fantasy VII, right? You go out and you get every single thing that you can find, every single elixir, and you never use it because you got to hoard it all. I'm a hoarder. Anyway.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
But I want to clear that out, though. I did not know you were a Final Fantasy VII guy.
Oh, come on, man. I'm mid-30s.
I had some heartbreak over that storyline.
Oh, God. That was the first time I cried as a teenager.
Yes, the reveal. Well, I actually did it later as a grown up, but the reveal went right. Anyway, there we go. We just revealed something. Final Fantasy VII, right? Yeah. Wow. So you leave the. I also want to leave the crash site. The debris cleanup. The crash site is a container.
Yeah.
Right? It's a big container, too. It's giant.
No, it's like 4. Yeah, it's big area-wise. Yeah, it doesn't hold a lot.
It doesn't hold a lot. It holds about a little less than an iron chest, I think.
No, it's 4. It's got 4 tiles of space. Iron chest has got like 30.
No. Wasn't it okay, I was looking at a modded playthrough, so I may not have... Okay, maybe something. So it only has 4 squares.
Yeah, Auntie posted a Reddit post. And it had 4 squares, 1 for each science, or 5 squares. Unlocked MojoD. Thank you. Okay. 5 squares, 1 for each science minus military.
Okay. See, I saw another playthrough where people were putting their dead pistols in it.
Sure. Yeah, that's a great idea.
That's a great idea, right?
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, well,
that should be an achievement.
Right. Yes. So I thought, okay, that's the gimmick. That's what I'm going to do. Is that's where we're all going to put our pistols when we die. And to that end, what we should do on a mega base, put a requester chest that pulls pistols, and that way you can throw it to your logistic, and it loads in the crash site for you.
Yeah, just don't hook it up to your mall, and you're going to have a whole thing full of pistols somewhere.
That's right. So the crash site, and I immediately, not to always bring it back to speedruns, I immediately thought the perfection that is Factorio speedrunning is now slightly tainted, because now
right in the beginning too.
Right in the beginning. Now, what we talked about in one of the last podcasts, there was no cutscenes, and it was just start and go. There was no kind of wasted time. It's immediately you have no cutscenes, and you have no unskippable barriers to get rid of. It's just an open field, and you go.
It was like barriers. You got to be spot on too. Like the moment you start in some of those, you got to be clicking like crazy.
Yes, and now we have 2 barriers. 1 is the cutscene, and 2, this big honking thing that takes up a giant chunk of your starting area. And I went, because you and I had just spent about 20 minutes talking about how perfect Factorio was of speedrunning. Doesn't have any of that kind of miscellaneous noise around it, and how it's chess and all that sort of thing.
No breaks.
I know. And then these 2 things get loaded in as the crown jewel, and I went, like I was like probably a Twitch clip of me laughing about it. Right?
They're pretty small though, but still,
it's
just ever so tainted.
Yes,
it is slightly tainted.
It is so slightly.
That
tainted,
steel axe is gonna take 3 more seconds now.
And the pulling up the debris takes a little bit. It's not an easy click. It's longer than pulling up a turret.
Yeah, you got to actually consider whether or not you want to spend the time.
Yeah, it's a little bit of time. It speeds up a little bit with steel axe, but even once you get that speed, that steel axe boost, still takes a bit. And it's this big freaking barrier. It could even, I mean, wouldn't it interfere with resources if you start?
Yeah, I mean, it could be on top of a patch. Sure, why not?
Right.
Well, then you just got to somehow deal with it. I mean, what do? Do you pick it up and lose it forever, or do you leave iron ore that is not harvested underneath it?
Exactly. That's right.
I can't do that.
You can't do that.
I mean, that whole save game is just corrupted at that point.
Right.
And you can't leave ore on the ground.
Can't leave ore on the ground, yeah.
And you can't use a command to remove it because then you have an impure map, right? You know, that's right.
You ruin your achievement.
The deuces for the win. You know, his motto was like, I never use commands on any of my map.
Right.
Always have achievements able to be gotten, no matter what.
Really?
Yeah, he never uses like / commands.
Really? I use it for speed up, slow down game, and a few other miscellaneous. But I rarely do that also. I rarely dip in.
Yeah.
Do you dip in to cheat on occasion?
No. My 5K megabase, I went the whole way without using a command. Made sure it was still pure all the way up until the end. And then after I got to the 5,000, I cleared all the biters and added myself an energy interface and removed the nuclear and all that stuff. But up until I was done, winner. Yeah. Right. Once I was done, I moved everything just to see, what does it play like?
Right.
But I like that pure map.
Yeah, me too. I don't find the need to use commands. I agree. I'm not opposed to it, but I'm just like everything I need to do, I can get over it with gameplay, right? So
yeah, yep.
All right. So anything else on 1.0? Have you actually researched your way up to a Spidertron in vanilla and done a thing?
No, actually, the first day. So the first day. Here, let me tell you about what I did with 1.0. Okay, so 1.0 is exciting. It's new. There's a lot of hype. I thought, let's take the opportunity to do something vanilla and fun. So I started off, I just wanted to launch a rocket. So I hyped it up to like 2 or 3x science requirements, right? Okay. Like the technology multiplier. I think it was 2. Yeah. 2x. And I said, all right, let's launch a rocket at 2x multiplier. So I did that. It took me like 4 or 5 hours or something like that, which is pretty good for... good. for not playing vanilla 1% like that in over a year. So I'm not going to brag or anything, but it was a nice, fun way to get back into it. But then I immediately went over to that PvP scenario. Do you remember that one? That Clonin made. That's included in the game. So if you launch the game right now, there's a scenario. You can play it multiplayer. You can play it single player. It's called PvP. Mm-hmm. You play it with your friends. It's got like 5 different game modes. You want to battle each other. Shoot rockets at each other, try to blow up each other's silo, oil race of some sort. There's a lot of different options in there you can play.
Production scoring.
Yeah, production scoring.
That's one you're playing, right?
That's the one I was playing. Yeah. So I thought, hey, well, let's just, let's play this. Why not? Let's just play it. So I opened it up, opened up a public server after I realized that my router doesn't allow me to set DMZ. Oof.
Yeah,
and we just played with the community for a couple days. Try to get some hype around a multiplayer event. I don't often play multiplayer, and there's a lot of people playing. So hey, let's do some multiplayer stuff. That's typically not what I do. I'm not a multiplayer streamer. Like I know you are, and that's something I'm dying to talk to you about. Maybe a future episode.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, I just engaged in some multiplayer, but we never got to the Spidertron.
Right. So, I mean, you and I did to that end. But you never got to Spidertron.
No, I never got there. Well, I didn't care. Like, I don't know. I didn't care.
My experience. Okay. So, all right. So there was yours. You launched a rocket, and then you went off into the scenario that was available in 18.
Yep.
Okay. So I did the opposite. I opened up I did the opposite. I did open up a vanilla base. But I have a hosting server, and our goal was to get to Spidertrons and use Spidertrons to the best of our ability. So we steered right away from that rocket and went to Spidertrons and unlocked all the cool stuff and killed the crap out of biters for several days.
Yeah.
The other thing I did, which you will be happy to know, is up until now 1.0. I had 37 out of 38 achievements.
No, you did. You got the last one. No way. I don't believe you.
Is called Minions, and it's like 5th most rare on the list, and it is have 100 robot followers at the same time, not over time, which means you. So
in order to get 100 Spidertrons.
No. And, what you have to do is you have to research like 6 rockets to get up to, or 7 rockets or something to get the space science to get to your follower bonus, because follower bonus is infinite science, right?
Yeah, so you got to get a couple levels of the infinite.
You got to get a couple levels of that
variation of it.
Yep. And then you have to unlock that, and then you also have to research the. You can't, and it took me 2 days once we finally got to that science open. You can't use the distractors because they don't really count as followers.
Really?
You also can't use the defenders because the summon time is too slow, and the first ones that you summon die off before you get to the 100th one.
Well, isn't there like a research for like extended, duration or something?
So then, then you have to get to the destroyer modules, which is the upgrade of the upgrade of the upgrade. So there's 3 flavors, the expensive ones. So anyway, I tried many times. Finally, I got the expensive ones. They're good. I never use them. Apparently, they were nerfed back in the day. But so for my 2 accomplishments with 1.0, number 1. We got a Spidertron, and me and my community on my server wrecked face. It was fun. It was so great. And we walked all over the map, and we did funny things with the lakes. You know how they do the lean way off on the water.
Yeah.
If you find your way to where you can delete some land and water bore your way, you can isolate the Spidertron on one thing, so he looks like he's on a pogo stick, right? And then also, if you put belts, twirly belts, in front of them, so like just a belt going around in a circle, and you put Spidertron's front legs on them, it looks like he's spinning discs, like wiki.
Ooh, yeah, he's DJing.
Yep. And so we did it. We Spidertroned ourselves silly the first day. Also, we at first what we did was we loaded them up with rockets. And then we walked everywhere and shot rockets. That was good. What is superior is now what Spidertron allows you to do is now essentially you have a bigger player grid with your Mark II armor.
Yeah.
So you put the shields and the motors and the exoskeletons in Spidertron, because Spidertron is taking the shield and Spidertron is doing the movement. And then you load you with lasers.
Yep, so PLDs.
PLDs, man. So now, and batteries. So you now do not have the burden of having shields and exoskeletons on your Mark II armor. You've now expanded that. Now you can fit more lasers and more batteries and more power.
Yeah.
So now Spidertrons are just murderous. So we figured that out pretty quick. Now
you get like 10 of them.
The rockets are too slow, right? You can also control several Spidertrons.
With a remote?
Yes.
Can you do like one remote for several, or do you have to do like one remote per?
One remote per.
Oh, okay.
But you can go click, and you can click them across, and they march, and you march, and then right, and then you go over that. Yeah. So, and then you can launch followers outside your robot followers, and then your destroyers come along and hit as well. We wrecked so many biters and never even fired a single rocket. And we figured all that out very, very quickly. We went, wait a second. We just opened up the military grid and we Spidertroned ourselves silly for like a week.
I feel like
it was great.
Can you do nukes? I mean, what if you just load up on legs and just really haul all over the map with nukes? Because that was my most hated thing about mega basing was clearing all the biters on the outside. And I play on maps where there's like it's really sprawled out, so it took hours.
Right.
And you can't automate it, right? Well, you couldn't.
Yeah. So artillery is the only way to automate biter killing now.
It doesn't have the range.
Well, you can research it, right? But here's the other one: is you put with the Spidertron, you load you are the pilot. It has a passenger, so you load yourself down with PLDs. You put your passenger with PLDs,
your buddy,
and you go your buddy, and then you go Spidertron. You have multiples, or you put your buddy in a remote controlled Spidertron with lasers.
See, that's an idea.
They can go AFK and get a sandwich, and you take your Spidertron and his and walk parallel and you murder biters, right? Mm-hmm. So it's not automated. It is fast, but it's not automated. Now, the nuke. So the grid is not the same as the Mark II armor. It's smaller.
Oh, so okay. So you can't get as much speed.
Right. So the maximum that you can fit in there with one fusion reactor and 3 exos.
Oh.
That's as fast as you can get it. So the Spidertron is not that fast compared to the player. Okay? It's fast, but not that fast. Because usually 4 to 6 is the sweet spot of most players. There's some that load in, 8 and they warp, and you can't even control yourself. It's a tool, not a toy. Okay. So 3 is the most you get. So they're not remarkably fast. So and the rockets are auto launch.
Yeah, that's perfect. So, you don't have to shoot them.
If a biter runs straight towards you and you auto launch a nuke at your feet and you're not that fast, you're going to kill yourself with a nuke.
They can survive a nuke, right?
It's 3,500 hit points. 3,
yeah, it survives a nuke.
One.
Yeah, just one.
If there's 4 biters at you, you got 4 nukes. You're not going to live, man. There's lots of Reddit posts out there of Spidertrons nuking themselves. So you got to be careful.
Yeah, I got to try it someday. Really, I got to try it someday soon. I haven't even tried them. I gotta get in it. But I'm playing. One in game. Yeah, I know. I'm playing too many different mods though. I'm like on C block and I'm doing this battle stuff and scenario stuff, and I need more time. I need more time in the day.
Yeah. You should build one anyway. Research up one, build one. It's very gratifying. Go out, throw your biters, because by the time you get your base up enough, I mean, if you're not speed running and you're building an actual base with good defenses or mega basing, you're gonna have a dense biter population, and you'll be happy you did, because it'll be super satisfying to run around and do a big clear. Also, what I did was I sat in the Spidertron, I zoomed out on the map, and then all I did was remote.
Yeah, that's what I want to do right there. Yeah. That's what I want. Right. But really? I want to have the waypoints. So I'm thinking they're going to add waypoints at some point.
Never happen.
No, you don't think so?
No.
Well, when you said that last time, what happened?
Okay. No, this is not happening. So
why not? Why not?
If they add waypoints or they add patrol, right? A patrol, right? Remember, so I'm thinking about your love of selecting bunches of units,
real-time strategy,
and RTS, and having them patrol. And you hold your mouse over there. You hold down P and you hit click, and then they'll go from where they are, their origin, to the P and back and back. Now what you've done is you've obsoleted artillery.
Yeah.
No, what they're not trying to do is they don't want to obsolete artillery. They don't want to obsolete anything in the game with Spidertron, because Spidertron is an extra, right? It's a little icing on the cake. It's not the cake. So it's not supposed to replace or surpass or be an upgrade to anything else. It's not supposed to replace the engineer, because you can't logistic and load it and request it. It's not supposed to replace artillery, because you can't automate it.
Oh, that's too bad.
And it's not supposed to replace trains either, because you can't pull in an automatic loader, right? You can't pull it into a station and have an inserter load it. So otherwise, wouldn't you like to be free of tracks?
No, I love trains, man. I'll always build trains.
Not if you can waypoint. If you can waypoint and logistic Spidertrons, you don't even need tracks anymore. So if you added in patrols, if you added in inserter loading, or you added in requesting, you would obsolete one of the 3 major pieces of Factorio gameplay, which is the engineered trains or artillery. And the developers were very careful not to do that. It's supposed to be an add-in with its own little spot, but not surpassing and not taking place of any of the other ones.
Yeah, a late game train. I'm sorry, a late game tank.
late game tank is really what it is, right?
Yep.
That's it. We've also, the other thing that we've done was we've also used it as a construction bot builder. So the same way that you can kind of take a supply train out to build, or you take your engineer out to build, and you have inventory in your train or inventory on your person, and then roboports. It's kind of a helpful builder, an outpost builder.
Sure,
because
you can help.
Because now you can place a blueprint from the map. Right.
Yep.
I'm in main base. I'm in my outpost. It's now clear of biters, or maybe not. I can now clear it with biters from remote, and bring my Spidertron back. I can then swap out my Spidertron. I have to interact with it. It's not automatic, but I swap out my Spidertron. I load it up with material. I take out its shields. I put in roboports. I put some bots in it, and I send it out there, and I paste my outpost from the map, and it sends out there, and it sits there for a minute, and then and the bots will come out of it and build your outpost for you.
Yeah, I like the idea of having it build the rails and stuff too, or landfill. Yep. Sounds like landfill's a big one.
Big time. Concrete landfill, huge. And that's the cool part is the engineer never had to leave home base. The engineer is still in main base, but it's not automatic. You still have to do some interaction, and you still have to research for the ability to do remote. But it didn't replace anything; it enhanced it.
So I did something like this in the past. There's a scenario called Braver New World now. It's updated. It's the same kind of concept. You play from the map. You can't actually do anything. But what I did is I used a mod from Angels to give me a train, and it was a lot of fun. So I'm glad that now we have the opportunity to have a vehicle build something without us being there in vanilla. I think that's really cool.
Yes, it is.
It's a big highlight.
To your point, it is the first vanilla vehicle with a legit roboport that you can build something with.
Yep.
Right.
A remote building is really cool, and I love it. It's a fantastic way to play the game. Combined with the blueprints from the map that you were talking about earlier, it just creates a brand new way to play the game. Just a really nice way to do the end game experience.
Yep. The nuke explosion, really good.
Oh, I forgot to even look at it.
You didn't even know what?
I don't even think I looked at it. Maybe I did.
You haven't seen? Have you seen the nuke yet?
Yeah, I think I did. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. You need. Okay. All right. You have homework.
I got homework. I mean, it's been 3 weeks since this thing's been out. You'd think I'd have it done by now. It's overdue.
2 assignments. Yeah, it is overdue. Yeah, 2 assignments. 1, build a Spidertron. 2, launch a nuke for yourself. There's a flash that is so much better than the old one. It whitens the whole map. The engineer view screen goes blazing white, as if a real nuclear blast happens. The whole sky goes
cool.
Crazy.
Okay,
white.
I haven't seen it then.
Okay, then it's really cool. So you need to experience those 2 things. You haven't even done what?
So here's the problem with this game, Clown. I'm going to tell you right now. Everyone who plays this game creates a backlog of stuff they want to do, and it's just a never-ending list of how you want to play the game and what you want to do in the game. And there never seems to be enough time. You put 1,000 hours in, you still got 1,000 more things that you need to figure out how to do. 2,000 hours, like I'm even getting started. 3,000 hours, I'm almost halfway. There's just so much to do in this game. It's the game that just never ends in giving, and I hate to say it, but like I get lost in the possibilities, and I forget about the cool things.
Yeah, and to your point on episode 1, you said the most dangerous thing about this is that it makes you feel like you've done work.
Yep.
It's so dangerous. I've been thinking about that for the last 6 weeks now. Ever since you said that, I went, "Holy crap!" That is exactly why it's so satisfying. And it's so dangerous because it makes you think you've done work.
Yep. You can any game where you can sit there after a couple hours of playing, and you can lean back, cross your arms, let go of the keyboard and mouse, and still enjoy it.
Yeah.
That's a game about work.
Yeah, it's a game about work. It is. That's right. That's
a game about
a lot of work.
Because you're looking at what you're done. You're saying, "God damn, look at this! This is amazing."
Yeah. It's great. And
then you can share it on Reddit or whatever you want to do.
Right.
And it's a lot of fun. Speaking of things that people make, one thing that everybody makes. All right, there's one thing that everybody makes. It's a mall.
It's a mall. That's right. Yeah, it's a good one.
It's the worst segue ever, but I promise you that we have good content coming up.
It's good stuff. Yeah. So we each had assignments. We were going to make. We were going to go off and demo a couple malls for you guys, and they're posted out there on Imager. We'll probably combine it into one post to go along with the video stuff. But give us a definition of a mall, because they may not have. Other folks may not have know it as the same thing. Because it might be Mega Base or speedrunner term of what the mall is, right?
So what's a mall, right? A mall it's just a place in your factory where you build stuff that you need, that you're going to place down.
That you need, right?
That you need, that your character needs, that you're going to place down. It doesn't go to science,
right? Not science, not circuits, not things that go into other things, but it's the things. It's the place where you build your equipment to build the rest of the factory.
Yeah, or commonly in the mid game, you swap over to the construction bots. Use them.
Yes,
but it's you or the bots.
You're the bots, right? Right. So I think the one I have. Maybe we can start with the most elementary one. Is the one that a lot of speedrunners will build. Not to always take it back to speedrunning, but there is one that you can get set up early game. And Rain will show it right now. And I'm
grabbing it.
It is super simple. All it is, all you really need, the ingredients for this thing is one belt full of iron only iron, and then one belt that has two components on it, gears and red and green circuits. So those two. Those two are the components of this first one. There you go.
Yep.
First one. So the first one I show. There's two sections of the one I made. I think this the first time I saw this was something that Nephrem's did. The two things that you're gonna need for the entire game on your person is green circuits and gears. You need that in your inventory for most of the game because you're going to be handcrafting a bunch of stuff. So the first picture I show is I have a little build that pulls in a couple of buffer chests, which we know why we buffer, because we always want to be building and we always want options. So it builds a buffer chest with a bunch of gears and a bunch of green boards. You always want those. You will never not need more green circuits, and you will never not need more gears.
Gears especially.
Gears. There's
gears number one.
Gears.
Everyone knows that there's never enough iron. Gears.
Right. So then it enters a splitter, and I kind of, or you can route it in. There's another one you can use to split that off if you want to for other builds. But you put these two belts together, then you look at picture number 2. So then you have a belt full of iron, and then a half belt of gears, half belt of greens, and that runs down the middle. So just go to picture 2. Yep, there you go. And then picture number 2 shows the mall, and all you do is you pull various things off of this belt for your mall. Now, you can do this in various orders, but those 3 things, iron, gears, and greens, those are very, very common amongst a lot of your starting material. So pipes, underground pipes, your steam engines, your all of your inserters, all 3 flavors of your early inserters. You need undergrounds, you need splitters. Miners will suck up a lot of your iron. So maybe you want to put that at the end. This one shows belts at the very end because it was an afterthought. I thought, I should have put belts at the beginning.
Wait, belts at the end?
Yeah, belts are going to be iron starved in this scenario, but because I had to route them back to feed belts back to the undergrounds, because they undergrounds and splitters, because they need belts, right? Which you could do that a different way, but basically, and also you also feed your assembler build, and then across the top as I continue on the copper. And the copper feeds the turrets, because turrets need copper. And then also that top line that is empty is one that you would bring steel along, because then as you add a few more things, the first thing you're going to add, the two next things that you're going to add for steel is medium power poles when you research it, and assembler twos.
Sure.
Both of those need steel.
Sure.
So then those two empty assemblers that I show, that's where those components come in. And then you limit the chests, you feed them off to a chest, and then you store them up. And what you come back here, you pull off the ones you need, and then you go off and do your thing and start building. These fill up again, and then you come back and you do your thing, and you get some more, and you go off and do your thing. Right? That's your mall.
Yeah. So this is all the basics, right? This is the fundamentals. Right. This is everything that you need to launch a rocket, but pretty much, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you don't really need to automate a whole lot of other stuff to launch a rocket.
Right.
If you have gears and you have green circuits, you can build what you need. You can build more miners. Even like the miner here, some of these miners and assemblers, you could probably get away with, without.
Yep.
And you can just build those whenever you want. But this is a nice starting mall, I'd say. You don't often see stuff like this in new players, because what they don't understand is they don't understand the ratio between this section, and right now I'm looking at the green circuits and the gears, right? They don't understand the ratio of this section and what is actually being built. So maybe they'll have 1 or 2 gear assemblers instead of 5, or maybe they'll have 1 green circuit assembler instead of 5. So that's the big takeaway, is if you can get a lot of green circuits, and you can limit these chests too if you want, but just have them roll, you'll have tons of material in order to build everything you need.
Right. Right. And also it's kind of handy to have it all in one spot. There are other builds that I see. The bus build is okay. But then what I see also, newer players will come off and they'll have one of them is I'll have the stone section way over here. So I build stone furnaces near the stone and near the steel, but then I got to go all the way back up here to go get a handful of belts, because we build belts near the beginning.
Yep.
And now I got to go walk all the way back here, right?
And that's just a drag to walk all over the place for everything, because you're going to go all the way all over the map. You're going to walk for 2.5 minutes, get somewhere, and realize I don't have enough belts. I forgot belts. I forgot my belts. And then you have to walk all the way back, and you say, oh man, I forgot the stone furnaces.
Yep.
Or I don't have enough iron plates.
So phase 1 is this one. So Rain is going to show us a different mall now that is in between this one. So you have 2 malls to show. One more advanced than the other one. So that's your basic one. If you want to start out with, you want a good mall, that's a good starter one. This is commonly used in speed runs also, but that's like somewhere in the realm of 30 minutes to an hour. You would be pretty well set up for the rest of your run to have that mall go.
Yeah. Right? This is the speed run build. This was developed back when construction bots first started in 0.15. Started to do the boxed gears and the boxed green circuits and put them on a belt.
Also, no green science needed. All of this is available at Red Science. I went to the end of Red Science. I did not research one little thing of green. You can do all of this early on, and doing all that with just Red Science sets you up really, really nicely for the rest of your factory.
I have a mall like this too that you can do without blue inserters if you want. So if you want just yellow inserters to even keep it more streamlined to get it done in the first 30 minutes, that's an option as well. So it gets rid of some of these blue inserters. All right, should we look at the Catherine of Sky Mall next?
Sure. Whichever one's kind of next in the progress. This is super, super early game. So whichever one is next most advanced, right?
So this is an imager here. You can already tell. Thank you, Redimus, for that stuff. 279,000 views, okay, on this mall. This is one of the most popular malls in existence. Everybody knows it. It's developed by the legendary Catherine of Sky. She put it together, and it's just like she's such a good resource for Factorio. I mean, she's easily the #1 resource for any sort of like learning Factorio. And this is the mall that
she taught me Covrex.
Yeah, she taught you Covrex. Yeah.
Yep.
This is the mall that she, made popular. Yep. So what this mall is, it's kind of like a branch off of a main bus somewhere, right? So you kind of need a main bus to support this, right?
Right. Yeah. There's a lot of there's a lot of material going down those outside lines, and I guess and the inside lines. And if you want to throw the imager link in the chat,
yeah, we'll do.
And the amount of material going down there it's pretty big. And I'm trying to see what color the belts. Oh, those are yellow belts, but that is still several lines of gears.
Yep.
That is two full lines of iron plus full lines of gears down the middle.
Yep. It's a very heavy mall.
Red. So you need to have plastic by then. A full line of steel.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think you do. There are like steps to this, right? You start off with like the basic one, and then you add the next. I think it's built to have like the most advanced stuff on the bottom, right? So here's all your red circuit bot stuff is more towards the bottom.
Well, kinda, or well,
maybe not.
There's blue belts in the belt section. I guess you got to skip ahead. You got to skip and leave space.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's a big mall, right?
Yeah.
It's a big mall, and a lot of players like it because it makes everything, right?
Yeah.
And now we're getting into the term "make everything," right? That's what some people are calling malls, is make everythings. It makes literally everything.
Everything. Yeah. What is that outside leftmost belt? Is that stone and brick?
Brick. Yeah, I think that's stone and brick, and those are going to go all the way to the bottom, all the way down here for your electric furnaces.
Yes.
Your walls,
rails, and for the stone.
Yeah, and rails.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, rails need stone, right? Or the raw stone.
Mm-hmm.
And look, she's got it pictured. Okay, so she's got it pictured as level 1 assemblers. She has not upgraded any of these.
Yep. The level 2s are just for the fluids.
Are just for the fluids, right?
Yep. And then it's got the beacons in place for the mid-game upgrade, so you can prod module and beacon your gears. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Wow. This is a good one.
Yeah, this is a good one.
Yeah. Also, this is like he was saying, is it captures everything in one spot. This is everything, right?
Mm-hmm. This is just about everything. It's not everything. Like it's not going to have like. I don't think it has level 3 modules, nukes.
Right.
So it's all the mid game stuff, right? So everything with red circuit. So I imagine there's probably beacons in here.
Yes.
You're probably going to see roboports in here. Let's see if we can find them. Beacons and roboports are pretty clutch to automate. Roboports especially. There they are, right there. Roboport.
Everything. Mm-hmm. Every piece of equipment, I guess, that is under blue circuits. If you need blue circuits, this is not the mall for you.
Correct.
But every piece of equipment underneath that, if it needs a red, then that's as technologically advanced as you got. It's probably in here, right?
Mm-hmm. So there's something I don't like about this mall, and I'm not being nitpicky. Okay. I'm not attacking this build.
Yeah.
And this relates to maybe an episode or two ago when we were talking about buffers. This mall is it's built on the premise of like you're limiting the slots of each chest to 1. Right? So a lot of these items, like a steel chest, each one of these different types of steel chests, that's gonna make 50 chests of each one. Now a lot of new players don't have 400 steel laying around to fill one of these chests full of chests.
Yes.
Right. So this is 400 steel, that's 400 steel, this is 400 steel, that's 400 steel. Your oils are also probably a couple. They're 100 steel. So everything about this is it's going to chew up resources. So when you first turn it on,
get ready.
Everything is consumed for an hour, 2, maybe 3.
Right. Also, speaking of which, think about the like Rain was saying, number of gears in the undergrounds. The undergrounds chew up gears like you would not. Well, I mean, belts do. But undergrounds especially chew through the gears, and gears chew through the iron.
Mm-hmm.
No, there's no your iron's gonna tank as soon as you turn this on, especially if you kick into red and blue undergrounds.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna lose an hour buffering. You're gonna lose an hour building inventory here.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
And that's okay if you're playing the 40-hour game and you're not really too concerned. But I do sense like a lot of players might be like, "Oh man, I built this. Now I just don't have enough iron."
Oh, where's our iron going?
It's dissipating, man. I'm telling you, it's there. It's just getting converted into stuff that you don't necessarily need right now.
I've got 2 yellow lines of iron. Where'd it go?
Yeah, and just to jump back, if you want a little bit more control over your iron, build this basic thing, then you make what you need.
Yes.
Don't have the mall make everything for you. You just make what you need. But when that's too much of a burden, that's when you start making these malls.
Right.
And belts are always, you never want to craft belts in your inventory. That's the worst.
Yeah.
Belts and gears you never want to craft in your inventory.
Yeah. Once you get there, those are two easy ones to get a cache of those, get a chest of those, so you can just run by, grab 4 stacks of gears and 4 stacks of belts and run on, or a little, maybe even more belt than that, maybe a row of belt, 1,000 belt, but have that as a buffer. My early game is a limited chest of 4 minimum of belts that I can run by. 400 belt, off I go.
I leave the chest just go whole thing.
Really?
Oh yeah. I need 2. I need 2 belt factories.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you got to expand, man. You got to grow.
400 isn't enough.
They're assembler ones. They're not assembler twos. So I'm flexing a little bit there. So to bring this back, okay. So this is your mall.
Yeah.
That you can build. Green science, right? And what you're expecting here is to grow into blue science, and this is going to fuel your construction bots, right?
Yep.
But
also, it's gonna set you up for oil and outposting, or so for more oil and more outposting, because it's got all the rail, and it's got all the big power poles, and it's also got the pump jacks and the refineries and the chemical plants. So this to me is, I've got starting oil and a basic base, and now this is for, I'm really gonna need to turn on the expansion and get geared up. And that's what this is.
Yep. But you're going to be limited by whatever these belts can put through, right?
Yep.
So this will carry you to yellow science, maybe a rocket.
Yep.
But once
yellow science is going to chew through the stuff, right?
But you'll be able to get yellow science, right? So an average player, you can use this mall between green, blue, purple, and yellow science.
Correct.
Right? And then when you hit yellow science and you're nearing the end of the game, you can use this to launch your rocket. But if you want to go past that rocket, that's where now we're going to segue into the next thing, right?
Right.
So we need a little bit of an upgrade. This isn't going to be able to handle our needs anymore.
Yeah. So the next one I'll show you. This was the one I use most often, and this is a bot mall. And all I'm going to show you is the unit of build, and this is meant to be placed in the orange section of a RoboPort. And that one is back on. Someone put this in chat. This is meant to be so this is just going underground. This is modded place, so you're going to see this weird green underground. But there's 2 aspects of this. This is again meant to be in the orange section of the
logistics network.
Logistics section.
Right. So we're talking about a bot based mall.
Yep.
Right.
So you're going to need, in the RoboPort, you're going to need active construction bot or active logistic bots in order to run this. So this one is, all it is whatever you're trying to build, a requester chest and a buffer chest. It's not a red passive provider, and I'll get to that reason here in a minute. So, and what you do, what you basically do is you start off and you put in all the components to whatever it is, whatever you're building in the requester chest. Set that as its demand. That inserter will fill that. The basic operation is the inserter will fill that that assembler. The assembler builds it and spits it out into that buffer chest. Right now, what you want to do is to Rain's point about being don't want to overcommit your inventory into a buffer. Then you want to do this one little cable that goes from the insert. One little trick, right? And doctors hate him. It goes from the insert. It goes from the inserter to the buffer chest, and you set a condition. So there's no combinators. There's no real circuits to build here. And the trigger on this is I'm going to enable or disable this requester when this buffer chest is full of whatever you're building. Yep. So I'm going to say, all right, I only want to ever have 40 undergrounds available. I don't want to build more than 40. 40 is my minimum. Okay, so I don't necessarily connect this to the network. I could, but what I'm going to do is that saves your UPS and saves your performance by connecting this wire to the chest instead. So The long story short is that if I connect to the network, that inserter is going to be keeping up with the entire inventory all the time, every single change.
Yep.
And that's going to be a lot of drain on your performance. If you tie the inserter to the chest itself, then all it's concerned about is that chest. It's not going to read the network. It's only reading that chest, which is great, right? That's where you want to be, right? So it saves a lot of that performance, right? So I'm going to say, look, I'm only going to add raw material when I'm less than 40. So I'm going to build up to 40, maybe a little over. It's going to spit out 40, and then that material, it's going to stop adding. Okay. Now, this is how you keep this. The second phase is how I keep all my trash cans clean, right? So if you scroll to the next screen,
I think I know what's coming here.
The setting on the buffer chest is I put in a redonkulous amount, basically a full chest worth of request, so that anything else in the network of those undergrounds comes in and collapses into that chest.
Goes right here.
Also, it goes right into that green chest. So the buffer chest acts as a requester, and it pulls in anything from your yellow trash cans, your yellow storage bins, and it pulls it right into this green chest. And then now it also counts as to the total that I'm counting with whether I build or not. So
right. So if you had like 200 that you just deconstructed, it's going to fill this up. You're gonna still only build 40. So now you have 250 of them waiting that you can use without having to build 40 more.
Correct. So if I just went in, I just collapsed an outpost. Say my outpost drained, and I put in, to his point, I walked back 200 of them in my inventory, and I just pitch them into trash instead of them going into the yellow trash, and you building 40 here. What will happen is if I pull them in the trash, they put them in my trash slots. They don't go to the yellow trash. They go here, and they count towards this limit. So that's material I'm going to save. Also, have you looked at your yellow trash cans lately? They're a wreck. They're a mess. Okay. And if you want a nice clean trash can, like I like a clean trash can, let me tell you. The only things I should see in there is wood, and I have a system to burn down the wood. I have a system to burn down all that other business. But for your mall builds, I don't want to build more if I don't want to build more if there's more in the trash. And so I could do what I said earlier and connect that inserter to the network and lose you.
Could. Yeah.
And that would read the yellow trash cans also. But this is the best of both worlds. And here's the icing on the cake. I blueprint this. I make one wire. I get my golden article, and I make this one time. I draw my wire from the inserter to the buffer chest. I copy it. I paste it. The wire is free in every single paste. So I've only made one wire. I don't have to do all this wiring. If you put your wire in the blueprint, Factorio gives you a free wire and gives you that free labor that you don't have to do.
Thank you very much, Baker Staunch, for gifting that tier 1 sub. I really appreciate that.
Thanks, man.
So somebody in chat recommend if you were to change this from enabled condition of undergrounds less than 40 to everything less than 40, would that still work?
To everything? Less than 40?
Yeah, everything. That might work. That could be a nice little bonus.
What do you mean everything?
Well, there's like an each condition, right? Or like there's each and anything and everything.
Star? Is it just star?
It's one of the stars. There's 3 stars.
Okay.
Yeah, so you might be able to do that. And then that way you don't have to say undergrounds for this one and belts for the next one. It might work.
Oh, anything in that chest.
Yeah.
For other than 40.
Yeah, but the actual variable is everything. So if everything is less than 40, we're working.
Everything in that chest. Right. That would save you from having to change that every time. Right.
Somebody in chat also asked the question, I think maybe it wasn't a question, it was a statement of, I would have just locked the chest down to 1 slot to limit it to 40.
Right.
Can you do that with this build? Or should you leave that totally open?
No, you leave it totally open because in our scenario, I've just pulled up 200 of these, and I want them to count here. I also don't want them to sit in my trash can. I want them to be nice and neat and pull into here. So I need those slots open.
Yeah, otherwise you might have like 100 construction bots just waiting on the outside with their item. Let me put it in.
Yes. Also, there are some builds that stack to 50, and guess what? You need 4 of them, right?
Nuclear power plants.
Yes. Or all of your personal stuff, right? Your fusion
power
reactors.
Armors. Yeah, fusion reactors.
You kind of want one of those, right? You don't want a stack of those. You want one. And those are 250 blues and some LDS. You don't want those stacking.
Yep.
Artillery is another one, right? You want more than those. You want to limit those. Nukes. Yep. Anything that is expensive and stacks a little high. That's where that would fall off. But I've seen them. I've seen it also to where you don't have to do this limitation. You could just put a red chest, and if the red chest is limited, it's fine. But what it doesn't do is limit the trash build, right? You're always going to fill that chest. So this is the best of both worlds. It cleans my trash cans. It limits my material. The other alternative, you could put the wire from the output into the chest, right? This is in the input of the input. So the inserter going upwards, that's the input to the assembler. You could instead attach the wire to the output inserter.
Yep.
And that way, but again, you would buffer finished goods instead of raw material. You're buffering finished goods in the assembler. It would stack up to 4, stack up to whatever it is, and then it's a little faster because then it has material waiting to output. But if you ever have to pull it up or whatever, you can rip it up, and then you can just throw your gears into space, and your gears get consumed. You throw your steel into space, and it gets consumed, right?
Yeah, I like this build a lot. I used something like this in my early days. I'll never forget when we were doing our first Rail World or post rocket type map, right? So you're just playing. A lot of people will end up doing a Logibot based mall, and they'll do something like this. It's nice and simple. It's easy. You can build what you want. You can do it yourself, right? This is a do it yourself, and Factorio players love to do it themselves.
Yeah,
it's one of the most gratifying things. I mean, you can take a blueprint and you can use a blueprint, but doing it yourself is great, and it's a low budget, low cost. Right. I mean, time wise, low time budget investment to get this mall up and running.
Correct. Also, this is one that you can you make it once. Again, you do one little connection. You paste, and the wiring is done for you. You don't have to do any advanced business. You don't have to program it. There's no combinators needed. It's a simple circuit. And by the way, this is my number one use case for buffer chests. I rarely use buffer chests anywhere else. On occasion, I'll have a big stretch and I want some concrete way over there, and I don't want to go back and forth and get it every time, and I'll make the bots do it. Or I want a stop of blue circuits way across. Or I'm playing a ribbon world where it's a long trip, and I'll do a buffer chest on occasion. But 99% of my buffer chest use cases is right here.
Yeah,
is right here. This is what I use it for.
Sounds about right. It's about what I use it for as well.
Yep. Otherwise, the other one is it's small. You can kind of put it wherever. It's what is that? 9. Easy to move. Yeah, and also if you decide to rip it up, you're not going to build that much, because as soon as you put it down, it's going to suck in all that finished goods right back to where it was, and then you're not gonna have to fill up another chest. You're not going to put it back into a red chest. It's gonna regulate itself in terms of if you end up having to move it. Right.
Yep. So we've talked about the early game, right?
Yep.
The mall to start off, getting your inserters and your belts. We've talked about the Catherine the Sky Mall, which is your blue science, right? Your blue science era. You want everything automated. You want your construction bots doing it. You don't want to finagle with all the different parts.
Yep.
And
this one takes you to end game.
This one takes you to end game.
But the next one is for is the top tip top of the pyramid of those Factorio players that second best will not do.
So what we're going to look at next is the creme de la crop of make everythings. It's the MojoD make everything. I've seen a lot of make everythings in my life, and I've never seen one that has surpassed the MojoD make everything in any capacity, other than being cheaper. But when when you launch your first rocket, and now you're looking at launching rockets 1 through 50, Clown Town Mall is going to get you there. All right, it's going to do a fantastic job. It's going to get you everything you need. When you're going 50 to 50,000, all right, and you want to play with all these circuits and stuff, that's where the MojoD make everything comes into play. So let me bring this up. So this is actually a video. All right, so MojoD has a video of his mall. And it comes with blueprints, and you can find it on MojoD's channel, twitch.tv, www.twitch.tv/MojoD. I highly recommend checking them out. Yep. And what this make everything... Well, let me just show you. I'm going to mute it so we don't hear them, but this make everything is it's a very smart make everything, right?
Yep.
So it's got the same kind of idea, and there's a lot going on here. Same idea as yours, right? You have Logibot based. It's got inputs, input inserters and output inserters. But instead of using green chests, he has some smarts to it. So what he's doing here is he's saying, you know what, I want to build 100 inserters. So when he says that I need 100 inserters and there's missing 100 inserters, it does some wire magic. And that inserter factory is going to request all the parts it needs to make. Not 99, not 101. It's going to make exactly 100 inserters. All right?
Right.
And if it's missing gears, it's going to say I need to make gears too.
Right. Oh, it goes down the component chain.
It goes down the component chain because it's got the smarts to it. It's recursive.
Wow.
So if it's saying I need a blue inserter, well, it's going to say, do I have a yellow inserter? No, I need a yellow inserter too. And then the yellow inserter is going to say, do I have a gear? No, I need a gear too. And all these things turn on. So over here on the right-hand side, you can kind of see some things turning on. And you can watch this whole video. It's a 20-minute video. It describes everything super well. But he can adjust what he wants in this make everything. And it's gonna pull that material in. It's going to make exactly the number of things that he wants, throw it in a purple chest, goes back in that storage, that trash can. So you're going to have a really ugly trash can. Doesn't solve that problem. But then it takes all the leftover materials that it didn't use in that blue chest when it's done. And it actually puts it back into a purple chest and says, we're going to recycle these.
And the purple chest makes sure that is used first. That is the highest priority. So if it doesn't have enough next time, it doesn't have enough gears, and there's gears, it'll pull gears out of that purple chest.
Right? Yep. So it's got that smarts. And the blueprint book you can find online. You can find it on Mojo's channel. You just do !, blueprints, or I'm sure if you find the YouTube video, let me just show. I can actually share this link right now too. Let's see, MojoD.
JD in chat also says, and if you dump 50 inserters in the network while it's making 100, it will stop and only make the extra 50. Because it accounts for the 50 that you just dumped in.
So the nice thing about this is if you've done a mall, if you've done 2 malls and you've done 3 malls and you did a smart mall and you did all this yourself, but you're playing the game and you're on hour number 2,721 and you don't want to make another mall, these blueprints will let you get your mall up without doing that step. Right?
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about that step. So he's got a book that's got all the different parts pre-configured, right? So you just stamp it down in your template. You want nukes, you want power armor, you want, whatever you want, you just place it right down and you're done.
Yeah.
It's a nice mall.
That's great. Yeah. This is the creme de la creme of malls that so even in the end game mall that I use for all my mega basing, there's still overage of inventory. You have to, for example, if I want stack inserters to be made, I have to make sure that I have a mall that has blue inserters, and it means I need a mall that has yellow inserters, which also means I need a steady feed of gears and circuits, right? So I have to set up all of those intermediates, and once I do, I set the right buffers, but all of it's manual. What you're looking at here is This is the smarts that react to all of those things and drive demand as it's needed.
It's all pre-configured.
Smart mother trucker right there, pre-configured all of that. And really good inventory control, because unlike the mall, the buffer chest mall, when you're done, if you get extra gears, you just pitch gears into the air. If all of the mall has gears already, chances are they don't, because gears is high volume. But if I pitch them in, they'll go to the trash can, because gears is really not something. Gears is so high transaction, you don't really put that in the mall, right?
No, you don't.
You don't really put anything high again. So malls, I guess, to kind of come back to define it, nothing is high transaction for malls. You want kind of one stack, one off, two off, anything that you're going to build a stack of and use to build other things, use to build the rest of the factory. So copper cables, no. Gears, no. On occasions, even engines are kind of on the bubble, because engines get pulled into science as well. So
but it's nice to have the bots made in your mall,
Yes, right. So you may just throw in a little bit, bleed off a little bit to science and throw it into your mall if you've got an engine line or an engine insert, something like that. Anything that it gets sucked up into science, probably you don't want to try and mall it in here. It's not here. Instead, you want to do the opposite. You want to pull the components that go into science and pull it off for your mall to support your one-off builds or your one-stack builds.
Yeah, right? I always have like a line of blue belt of gears, maybe 2 blue belts of gears, all the way from my mega base, wherever I'm making gears, into the mall area, and just right into red chest, because those blue belts, man, when you're working on a mega base, a belt-based mega base, those blue belts will just devour. They will devour those gears.
Yeah, they go through the gears like crazy. Undergrounds, especially undergrounds, are what, 80? In order to get all the way up to a blue one, don't you have to put in like 200 gears or something?
It's something silly like that. Yeah,
it's dumb. It's the dumbest thing ever. You got a 200 gears for like a pair of undergrounds. It's nuts. I don't even remember it, but it sucks it up real good. Anyway, lots of good discussion about malls, and this is a very, very common tool that Factorians will use to advance the game. You definitely don't want to do all this in your handcraft,
no,
especially because of the diversity of material and the upgrading of. Just as the example, the belts are a great example. You do not want to handcraft and upgrade your belts like that. You want to have something that upgrades it. Your assemblers also, you do not want to have to right-click and make level 1 modules to build your level 3 assemblers. You don't want to do that in your hand. You want some automated process, and malls are great for that. Right?
Yep. And so my final tip on malls, and this is going to be a kudos to Factorio at the same time. If you're going to start off with a mall, and it's one of your first times playing the game, like you're still working on your first rocket or something like that, gears, green circuits, inserters, and belts. That's it. Stop there. Put those in chests. Call that your first mall. Okay? It just so happens that those things right there, well, maybe power poles too, right? Just the basic poles, if you want to. Those things right there, that's red, green science. Like there's a reason why those are the components for red and green science.
Right.
The devs wanted you to automate those things, put them in a chest, and then use them. And once you have those things, you can build anything you want.
Right. Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah, everything else from that one point, you can get red and green science. And by the way, if you just look at by volume of the tech tree, red green science is the overwhelming majority of, just by the number of resources there. I mean, other than the infinites, let's discount the infinites, but red green volume is the biggest chunk of science you will eat through.
Yep.
And range right, getting to that point, belts, inserters, power poles, you just get and a couple lines of raw plate, you're good. You can do almost everything that you need, right? No steel even. You don't even need steel.
No, you don't. You don't need steel automating
all of that science. And that's the first time in Factorio you will likely, that's the first time it ever happened to me, was new players with just that simple little level 1 mall. You will get ahead of yourself in science. You will not be waiting. There's a couple stages of Factorio where I'm waiting on science, or science is so far ahead of me, I got to catch up. Right?
Yeah.
And once you crack open red green science, that's a big one. That science will get way far ahead of you because it'll go quick, and you'll open up so many new neato tricks in Factorio, which is that simple little mall. And then you can start filling in the rest of it, starting with that little speedrun base that I showed you. And you can kind of build on that, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's good. That's a good point. Red green science, right?
Yep,
it's good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, thank you guys for being here. If you want to be a part of the chat, make sure you go by Twitch TV /Rain9441. Rain, you want to talk about what you got coming up this week?
This week we're going to do some Braver News C Block today. After this, when we're done, it's just going to be some standard Bob's Angels in the water. This weekend, I'm hoping to do a little bit more. Maybe some productivity battles as well, or production battles as well. I got a slightly modified version of the scenario, that the PvP scenario where it kind of rebalances things, and I want to try it out with some online members of the community. So
maybe I'll maybe I'll you want to drop in. Maybe I'll play with you if we happen to be on at the same time.
That could be fun.
That'd be fun. We do a little. We used to do a thing called Base Doctor, where Rain and I would just get in Discord. We would go jump into public bases, and we would fix them until we got banned.
That was a Colonel Will special.
Yep, and then we would crack wise for a couple hours and build and just talk about life. It's a lot of fun. Yeah,
there's an MMO event this weekend too that I might be able to get into. 6 o'clock in the morning my time, I think. But I'm gonna make an effort to get up and try to get it. It's gonna break the world record with the most number of Factorio players on one server at the same time.
I guess we got to do that. Yeah.
It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, it could be fun. All right. And for
we could Base Doctor in.
We can. Hey, all 500 of you! Look what you've done wrong. Yeah, we're judging you. Hey, so yeah, for me, I'm off tomorrow, and then I got a good weekend coming up. We start a new playthrough for the long holiday weekend on Friday. It's going to be Factorio Extended Ribbon World with Angels Trains. Angels Trains let you go 700 miles an hour plus the 200. The fuel speed bonus gets you up into around 800. Kilometers per hour. Once you get going up to 800, we're going to go to the edge.
Oh, you're going to do the edge?
We're going to go to the edge. We're going to see how fast we can get to the edge. So vanilla,
the Jamorian.
Yes, vanilla trains with nuclear fuel get to the edge around 3 hours. I think with an Angels train, Angels mods, those trains with 730 kilometers per hour. We're going to get there. I think we're going to get there about an hour or so. Yeah, it's going to be great. So that playthrough is going to start up. So if you're a subscriber in mind, look, just help me. It's not a get rich quick scheme. Like ain't nobody getting rich. It's help Dad pay for the server. That's it. And come in. You can help us build. It's going to be a ribbon world, but what we're going to do Spidertrons, and we're going to go to the edge, and we're going to have some fun. So that playthrough starts Friday early, and it'll be off to the long weekend. 4 great weekend days, Labor Day weekend, playing Factorio. It's going to be great.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for listening and tuning in. This has been Factorio Podcast episode number 4.
Yep.
4. We talked about malls, talked about 1.0.
1.0. Love.
All right. Tune in next time. Smash that subscribe button, like, share, tell your friends.
Everything we talked about is in the description below. Links, details, all that good stuff. Our channels, all that stuff. So thank you very much, and we'll see you next time.